Greetings, this is Sean, and today I'm going to be working on this box that I've got here. This is actually in response to this video here that I'm about to show you of Abra Bentley over at Bentley House Minis. She had an issue with one of her Faerie Lights. And as you can see, I've got a different set of them, but they're very similar. And this box I use to take pictures in. It's a white box, and the little black spot that you see, or the tape here that I've got, is just temporary to hold down my little piece of vellum so it doesn't flap around. But as you can see inside, I've got the lights are up here above so that when I turn them on, they provide light on the inside, like this. Now, in her video, as you've seen, she had, as you'll see here in a minute, she had an issue with one of her lights.
And honestly, this process was working really great. I got all the mushroom lights done, and then I got to the final light on this string and disaster struck. I accidentally clipped through one of the wires. These wires are so thin, which is maybe not one of the greatest reasons to use these kinds of lights, but they are cheap and easy to use. But it basically made all of my lights, my previous lights, go out. And the only way to fix this was to clip off all the mushrooms, remove the string of lights, and start over with a brand new string of Faerie Lights.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lights here that I have, and I'm going to cut one of the wires off and show how different ways of repairing these lights. And I've also got another strand of lights that I'll show you that are very similar to these, that I'll show you different things that you can do with them, different ways of going about doing them. So anyway, that's what this video is about. Okay, I've got my lights here, and what I'm going to do is on this little strand right here, since it's close to the edge to make it easier, I'm going to cut one of these wires off just to show you how what you can do if you've got them installed and you want to try and repair it. So I'm going to take this strand here. I'm just going to cut this wire like that. So now that light won't work, and any light beyond that won't work either, which is the majority of them, as you can see. So these wires here have a coating on them that protects the wires so they don't short out when they're touching each other. So what you need to do, there's different ways to go about doing that, to repair that, to replace or fix that. And one thing you need to do is remove that coating. And so you can take a lighter or a flame of some sort, or even a soldering iron will work. And you just heat that up, and that will burn off that coating that's on there. You can see it. Did you see it go down there like that? So now you've got bare wire there. Now I'm going to let that cool down for a minute. You can also take a piece of sandpaper or a file or something like that, or an X-Acto knife, and you can scrape that off. So you have bare wire. There you can kind of see it's nice and clear now. Let me zoom in a little bit. Hopefully my arm won't be in the way. Try and get this underneath here so you can kind of see a down view of it better. There you can kind of see the bare wire now. Now, different ways to do this. One, you can take the two wires and just twist them together. Get a pair of needle nose pliers, which I thought I had them right here. I'll use these. Take the 2 wires and give them a twist like that. Now if I turn the lights on, you can see that now they're all working. Real simple like that. Now, that by itself is not going to hold. So what you can do is take a piece of electrical tape and put around it, or you can put, I'm going to attempt, I haven't tried this yet, but I figure it will work. I'm going to take some super glue. This isn't actually CA, well, it is a type of CA glue, but it's a little bit different. It has a really nice long setting time. It's a gel type, but it's a little bit safer, I think, than super glue. It will still stick to your fingers and all that kind of stuff, but at least you have a little bit more working time. I'm just going to drop a little drop of that on there. Like that. And let that set up. Take a toothpick or something like that to help kind of spread it around a little bit. And you can see with the light still on, it's still making contact, and that should hold those lights and keep them working. Now, other things that you can do too, if you have a soldering iron, you can just solder those together. If you're concerned about it shorting out with something else, you can put tape around it. Any kind of tape will work. You can even take, what I would use is, like, this is heat shrink tubing, and you can put a piece of heat shrink tubing over the top of that and heat it up, and then it will, protect it as well. Then it'll also hold it too, so you don't have to use the glue, but the glue by itself should work. So anyway, that's the quick and easy fix to repair those fairy lights like that. So anyway, I wish I had known that she had that issue. I could have saved her a lot of time and effort and was able to get this fixed. But now y'all know for the next time, if this ever happens to you, a quick and easy fix to repair those lights. Now what I'm going to show you is I have a different strand of lights. I'm going to get this box off my desk, and I'll show you some other things that you can do with the fairy lights, just for, other ways of going about doing it. So hang on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I have these, this is, I don't know how many are on here, a couple hundred, 500, I think is what it was, something like that, maybe even more than that. Anyway, these are all bundled up, and I think they stretch out. Oh, I think I still have the box. Maybe not. Yeah. 672 lights, and it's about almost 7 feet long, 2.1 meters long, and meant to go onto a Christmas tree. And that is not the price that I paid for it. These were on a clearance aisle. I think I paid like $10 for this, something like that. And as you can see, they run off of 3 volts right here. Actually, the output is 6 volts right here. But each one of these lights is a 3-volt light. Okay. And it uses a transformer which plugs into the wall. And what I've been doing with these is, let me refocus this. Let me turn my lights on too so you can see. What I do is, if I need like a single light, for example, I have this crystal here that I wanted to put a light inside. So I made the crystal and put one of these inside of it. So you can clip this off. And really you should do this with the power off, but I'm going to go ahead and do it with power on. Where's my clippers? There they are. But only cut one wire at a time. Like that. Now you have a single LED. Whoop, that you can use in a project. And this has that same coating on it, except this one obviously is green because it's meant to go into a Christmas tree. But there's a single LED, and so I've got 672 LEDs that I got for like $10, which is actually really cheap, especially with leads already attached to them. The only problem is we don't know which one's positive and which one's negative. So the way you can do that is they run off of 3 volts, and these button cells here, these CR2032 button cells are, let me see if I can get it. Oop. Are 3 volt button cells. There you can see the 3 volts. Okay, this side's the positive and this side's the negative. So what you can do is you can strip this off as before. Let me get my lighter. That wire gets hot very quickly, so be careful. Like that. And then what you can do is take one wire and go really quickly, put one wire on the back and touch the other wire to the front. If the light comes on, then you know that that's the side, so it's not. So you turn it over. Oh, I probably don't have it all the way stripped off. We'll use some sandpaper. So now you just hold one on one end on the back and touch the other end. See, it's not working, so we'll turn it over. I may have a dead battery. Get another battery. There. You can see it lighting now. Well, it was lighting. There. Okay, so we know that this one here is the positive end. And what I'll do is I'll take Sharpies. We know that this one here is positive, so I'll take my red marker, which denotes positive generally. And right up here at the base, I'll put a little red mark right there by that wire. So I know that that wire going down there is positive. And you can also put it down here. It's harder to show up, but you can put it down on there. Then you can take your black one, which is generally ground, and touch that wire right on that end there. Make a mark here on that end too. So now we've got them marked so we know which one's positive, which one's negative, so that when we put them, in something like this, you can, of course, this one I marked in here, but I got it sealed, so I don't know which one's positive, which one's negative on here. But no, not that way. I think this one I actually burned out because I used 5 volts instead of 3. But that's okay. Anyway, so that's how you can use these if they go bad or or whatnot. You can also, like I said before, you can solder them. This one I would probably put into a crystal like I did before, or you can put it into any device, a lantern or a candle. It's got a nice little candle like flame shape that you could use it as a candle. You might need to trim it up a little bit, so that you can, unfortunately it's got those wires that go all the way up to the next one in line, so you can trim those off. You can go a little ways down. I don't know if I can zoom in close enough. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but inside there, you see that little yellow mark? I'll put an arrow on the screen, but that little yellow mark that's there, that's the actual LED. That's the part that actually lights up. So you can actually trim down to that if you wanted to shape this a little bit. Unfortunately, you can't take that little wire that's there out. That has to stay in there because that's what connects to that LED. But if you wanted to, you could probably paint this a white color or something like that, and it would probably still, shine through it and make little candles out of them. So anyway, those are some thoughts and suggestions on how to fix and use these little fairy lights other than what they're intended for. And let me see if I can zoom back out. So anyway, I got lots there to play with. And anyway, hope this was a little helpful. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. If I get a lot of questions about something specific, then I will redo this and try and answer all of your questions, or maybe I can do a live session or something like that and answer questions as we're going along or something like that. Just let me know what you think. And as always, have a better day, as I always say.